Designlytical, discussing the philosophy of design education in the UK, talking ideas, perspectives and beliefs. This episode, I want to welcome Pat Link from Neston High School and his amazing makerspace. Talk about his unorthodox introduction to teaching and his lover of recycled plastics. Let's get started. Let's get started. I'm so sorry, Pat, for your time. Thank you. Right, shall we?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, Pat, thank you for coming on as the first member or the first person to come on my podcast. And I met you through Facebook, I think.
Yeah, we met via Facebook, Ben. Yeah, and I'm happy to be the first one to trial this out. You know, it's the guinea pig's fine. You know.
And sorry about all the technical issues earlier.
Yeah, but that showed that's real life. Then if there's no technical issues, wouldn't be real life.
Great. So let's just find out a bit more about your background, really, because I think you told me your background's in furniture. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so I started to myself. I'm Pat Link. You know, I'm 26, and I'm going to do like a wink, and I know you won't hear that on the podcast, and it'd be like a whoa when people see me. No, I'm 26 years in the UK. That's what I am. You know, so I done an apprenticeship, and I've done it. It came along this way. I probably have to give a bit of a background, and it's probably good that way. When I went to school in Germany, and German school system is completely different to the UK school system. Still hasn't changed to this day. You know, it's still in the same way. So you have, so if you had dyslexia or anything like that, nothing like that gets picked up because you're taught in a mixed cohort. You know, you go through your tests, teachers are that supportive, they get you through and everything like that. You can repeat a year if you don't succeed and stuff like that. So it is a very I think it's a good, fair system. You know, there's nobody excluded or anything like that. It's quite inclusive, even though you're not diagnosed with anything, you know.
Yeah.
And so I finished school in Germany, and national service was compulsory, and I didn't really want to do that. You know, like, oh, what can I do? If you stay in education, you don't have to.
Okay.
So I found myself an apprenticeship. I wanted to become a cabinet maker because I liked making things from a young age. I was really engaged in making things, so I became a cabinet maker. And alongside that, my shop foreman said to me, you know, if you do A levels, you know, you set yourself up for the future if you ever want to run your own business, or you might decide you want to go to university, even though you're not deciding now. So I done A levels alongside.
Okay.
In Germany, we have what's called Fachhochschulreife. So it's like a technical A level. So it's so it's a technical A level. So I done things like the old-fashioned technical drawing there, and obviously like art history, research, and all that sort of thing. So loads of courses into that. There was maths in there as well, because funny enough, even though I didn't do well at school, I always enjoyed maths. I always enjoyed that problem solving, looking at things, you know, and I think that's what got me then into becoming the cabinet maker, because it's a lot about problem solving. You know, you have to come up with this. You have to look at it. The customer gives you an idea. You have to try and interpret it into a drawing or to something to show them, because they will show you a picture and they go, "I want something like this," but they don't say what like this. So you have to tease that out of them. You know.
Yeah.
So I've done that for 20 years.
Wow.
You know, I had my own business, and in 2009 we had a credit crunch, and sort of business dried up, and I was like going, okay,
So
People didn't.
you were running that in the UK.
Yes, I run that in the UK. I run my business in the UK because to run it in Germany, you have to have it. You have to go through, I think, 6 years of becoming a master in your trade.
I see. Yeah.
Doing like a university course that you learn how to run a business. You learn, a lot of technical stuff around not the trade so much, but more about the business aspect that you can run a
Yeah.
business.
I mean, do you think, because I've always, this is my understanding, I've always felt that we are years behind Germany and America in terms of technical education. And I've
Yes,
spoken to quite a few people, and even people in Canada, where, as you identify, I mean, 20 years ago, they'd already identified a technical route. And, that's what we're doing now with the T levels. But that's like, we're 20 years behind that. And I always felt that that's what, here, technical education as seen to be vocational, whereas in Germany and America and places like
that
that, it's
is.
actually just it's the same. Doesn't mean that you're less academic because you're going technical route. Actually, they're both the same, and they're actually supported, and there's a clear path. And it's really odd that in this country, we have the term technical, vocational, and I think we link it with trade, and that's what's
Yes,
even weirder.
and that's when in 2009 why I got into teaching. It was really one of those burning moments, sort of thing like that. I had to do an undergraduate degree because I obviously didn't have a degree. So 2012 I graduated. But how I got into the whole thing was there was a shortage of DT teachers, and a friend of my youngest daughter's, her mum, came with a newspaper article to me, and she said, "Pat, have you seen this? They're looking for DT teachers." And I went, "Oh, funny. This article that I read here today." So we both read at the same time the same article. She said, "That will be your thing." Because I've had apprentices all through my business. And I done apprentices here in the UK, how you done apprentices in Germany. And I
Yeah.
even got by the Small Business Federation when they said to me, "You're doing that wrong, I said, "No, I'm not doing it wrong. This guy's going to work for me or one day leave me and set up his own and do something, because I was treating him in a complete different manner. I didn't like this fact of you pay them £40 a week, you send him back to college, and I'm going, no, he works for me, so he's going to get paid properly. He works for the money. He has to turn up and do his shift and he gets
Skills.
paid for that,
Yeah.
and learns a skill. And that's how he's going to learn his skill. So that's what really drove me to it, looking at I wanted to go into teaching I had this idea that I'm going to, hopefully help reshape, do things. But like you just said there, we are 20 years behind, and I think we're still going to be this for a long time because the people who make these decisions are not connected with the reality of down to earth. I
Yeah.
said, if you had a teacher making those decisions, they'd be different decisions than if someone makes a decision who has not been in that route, who's not come through, as they call it, a vocational trade.
Yeah.
Because actually
Yeah.
in Germany, tradespeople are very highly seen as they are on lines seen with professionals
Yeah.
because it's a
Yeah. Exactly.
professional trade. It's not,
Yeah.
you might have dirty hands, you might have holes in your pants from kneeling down, but you are doing a highly trained skill. And
Yeah.
that's how I see with the subjects I teach, and how our school really values engineering, really values 3D product design, really values the arts in our school because
Yeah.
they see that it is actually more than just a vocational creative thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Uh,
we have government doesn't measure that, and that's the thing what I have. When you said about that T level, I wrote a letter of complaint when AQA stopped their engineering degree. The level 3 technical qualification. They stopped that.
yeah.
It finished this year. We had
Okay.
our last cohort just go through it now.
Yeah.
Students absolutely loved it. We had great results. Government said there wasn't enough uptake.
I
But
see.
no,
Yeah.
no, but it wasn't. 2 years ago, they offered us to come as a trial school onto this T level.
Yeah.
We said no because the T level wasn't starting for another 2 years. So it should be like a trial school. And
Well, this is it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
I mean, do you think talking about, I mean, the uptake of the engineering level 3
yeah,
qualification you mentioned, I've been thinking about this recently about, the design technology as a subject. And do you
Yeah.
think that we are just too wide? When I look through my sort of Instagram feed, 1 minute I've got, kids doing robotics engineering. I've got 1 minute I've got kids making a cake. I've got 1 minute of kids making a cushion cover. And just do you think that maybe over the last 20 years, we've tried to fit in too many material areas, too many specialisms, and
Yeah.
that has been our downfall, because we haven't said, right, we're just going to teach the kids how to do this, become engineers or become makers, rather than going, okay, we're going to teach you to become a maker, but also we're going to teach you about graphics, but we're also going to teach you about cooking, we're also going to teach you about textiles, and actually they're all sort of different subjects. And actually, if we had a whole year on one subject rather than, 2 months here, 2 months here, 2 months here, maybe we would get students who are, far greater skilled. And, I don't know. It's just definitely
Yeah,
something that
no,
I'm
see,
trying to get my head around.
that's what the idea, when people say, why do I call ours maker space? And I've been trying to brand it as maker space, because I looked at it. We are a maker space. We are people who make things. We like that sort of, and you can create a project for students where they have the graphics in there, where they do the engineering in there, where they do product design in there, where you can even put textiles, you can even have food going. You can make projects in that manner. And I
Yeah,
would say, yeah, I've got a great head of department who's given me that freedom of trialing things like that,
yeah,
at Key
yeah,
Stage 3. And we're even bringing it through now because we do the art-based 3D product design, and that's quite loosely compared to like the traditional DT.
yeah.
So I brought parts into there with it, roots into. But like we say with the engineering one, the uptake on it has been really good. But now we
Okay.
have to change to a new course now with government's prescripted, and
Yeah.
I think it's going to have an adverse effect now, with
So,
that sort of thing like that. Because
so
it's
do
again
you run?
someone who's not knowledgeable about what we need to teach and
Yeah,
how it's delivered, who still see it as a vocational subject.
yeah. So do you run that alongside? So you've got the level three
Level three
equivalent
engineering,
engineering,
level
and
three
then you run
engineering.
that alongside 3D design as well as
Yes.
so
Yeah.
they're your two sort of design based, I say
Yeah.
design, engineering
Yeah.
and design based qualifications.
Yeah. We run it at Key Stage 3. We call it design studies.
Okay. Now
It's
that's interesting.
called design studies. And what we do there is in year 7, we introduce them to the workshop. So as many machines, small projects, small, fast projects, just to learn how to use machines. They get comfortable on using a machine, get comfortable on starting a computer, get comfortable in looking at a CAD program. Because you have to, an hour is not enough time to teach something in. So
Yeah.
we're trying to nurture a thinking of, you have an interest in this, so you will do stuff outside a classroom by yourself.
Yeah.
You don't, it's not, I don't want to call homework or
Yeah.
extended learning. It has to be, if you want to learn CADs, it's like, I always say, kids, it's like learning to ride a bike. You pick it up
Yeah.
lots of times, you will fall down. If you want to learn to work on the lathe, you're going to have to try it loads of times and
Oh, of
you will
course.
make mistakes. And
Yeah.
that's why on our Instagram feed, I'm quite happy to say if I've done something wrong and I've gone back and I've rectified it and tell students, show
Yeah.
a quick, like a reel or something like that, show something working. And so then, but I say, I had a picture before where this has gone wrong, show
Yeah.
the wrong outcome, and then show the real how I fixed it, you
Yeah.
know.
It's really good that you're teaching those core skills. And yesterday I had Trend in to have a look at our CNC machine. We were getting that all started, and we were having a chat about all the machines in the workshop. And I've been really lucky to have kept all of our machines. And the only two machines I haven't been able to introduce into projects are the center lathe and the wood lathe. And that, so that next year I'm focusing on CAD CAM, getting that all up and running, getting the
Yeah.
CNC and 3D printers integrated into projects. And then the last two bits of machinery that we don't use are those two machines. But it's so hard because my area was set up for like 16 students. Back in the day when the college opened or the DT department started, it was only 16 students. I've got 160 kids on my course now, and trying to get them all through, on the center lathe, as you say, it takes time.
It takes time.
And that's the thing. And it's, I definitely take my hat off to you. That you're persevering and making sure that kids are learning those sort of core skills.
Yeah, the thing about how I quite often do that is, and well, this year has been really difficult and last year because we can't do any after school stuff.
Yeah.
But I get into work early, and I had so many Key Stage 4 and Key Stage 5 kids who got in early because they wanted to do something, or then they'll stay after school. Some of them I had to say that honest thing, I do have a home life and I'd like to go home. And they laughed then, sort of thing, and kids, where they go, oh, thank you, sir. Sorry, I didn't realize what time it was, and things like, because it's that enjoyable. But you have to give them that freedom, that trust. And with that freedom and trust does come a lot of work that has to go into it,
Yeah.
It's
So
like,
what's the name of your school again? Is it Neston
High School.
And where's that based?
We're on the Wirral.
Okay.
So it's we're in the north, just south, geographically at the opposite side of the Mersey to Liverpool.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah. And I've been up in this area like for 26 years now. But at this school, I joined them 4.5 years ago, I think it is now. Yeah. Come up to 4.5 years ago. Done my NQT year in in Southport.
Okay.
Out of school and stayed there for about 2.5 years, and then joined a college.
Yeah.
And left the college because I didn't agree how colleges run compared to a school.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And
Yeah.
I moved back into that's why I'm not going to name the college, and that's why I moved back into a school then, sort of thing. I
Yeah.
did, when you said about 160 kids, you said, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you start an engineering course and you look at your class list and you have to scroll the page twice.
Yeah.
And you go, I can't get 48 kids into one room.
Into a workshop. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, but those 48 kids have a double lesson with you.
Yeah.
We put you in the big theater with them. I said, oh, that's great, that.
Yeah.
Can you get the lathe up on stage then?
Yeah, well, this is it. I'm capped. I said to my head, look, my numbers are increasing by 20 next year. I'm getting another member of staff in, but I said I can't. We've got one workshop. That's like that. There's only one. I can only have one class in at one time. Yeah. So it's like, unless you want to build me a £5 million DT workshop again, then I can't increase. And I think I've had to be quite strict about health and safety and.
Oh, you have
like
to
that.
be.
So they're definitely on board. They're definitely on board with that.
Well, see, the biggest thing I always say, and schools, at Key Stage 3, we have classes of well, they try to send us classes of 30, so it doesn't work. Yeah. 24 is the max.
Yeah.
24 goes by that every kid has a seat in the room. Well, we can get more chairs. No, but if you get more chairs, I don't have more tables. We can get more tables. Well, if you put more tables in, we haven't got space in the room.
And there's the challenge, and this is what I realized is, when I was sort of working in schools and, sort of managing DT departments, I was always having this sort of conversation with assistant head, and they were saying, yeah, but I'm blocking you up against PE, and PE can get 450 students on this block, but I can't do that because you're telling me you can only get 260 students on this block, and it's like, and they always use PE because it's a practical subject.
Yeah.
So they try and block us up, but it's like it's not the same, And obviously, I recognise in maths where they're all sitting in a row and they've got seats and they're all like, yes sir, rather than running around this very dangerous environment. They don't,
that blocking up against subjects because they use science as well. Then but science managed to get 30 in, but science sit in rows and not everyone does an experiment. And I always invite them. Can you come down to my lesson then? And we're going to do the Heegner saw. We have 2 Heegner saws, and I'm going to have to get 24 kids onto 2 Heegner saws. So what do the others do in the meantime? I said, I knew you were going to ask me that. Now, what they do is we have a design station, we have a coping saw station, and we have a sanding station. But how do you trust them on that saw? Because they've all been shown how to use the saw. They've all done their license, how to use a saw safely. We've done a lesson where they've all showed me they know how to set the blade up. They know how to hold the saw. They can cut a straight line. They can cut a curved line. They know what to do in a case of a snap blade. They know the procedure. And they look and they go, yes, that's something I call it train kids, because it's something you have to train someone.
You have to.
You have to do it over and over again. It's like we've been trained as teachers. I've been trained as an apprentice. You do it over and over. And if you do that procedure over and over, it's not learning. I said, it's training. I said, because you train to ride a bike. You train to run. You don't learn to run. You don't learn to ride a bike. It's you train yourself, because you will do it and you have your own little personal quirk in it. And that's what makes it interesting. I said, my most memorable things of teaching is when I had students who came to me with Makerspace, like to show the stuff off, but then on CAD would go, sir, I've got this problem. I'm looking and going, just Ben, show me how you've done that again. And they go, and they're going over, that is really interesting. You're gonna have to do that. Why, sir? I said, you are miles ahead of me there, and they're showing me things that they've done. And I'm like, wow, when you have that moment, and they've learned that by themselves, by me just showing them the beginnings and them running with it.
And then developing.
And that's something, I think, something for the future. I think that's where we're going to struggle, is because if they don't want to put a budget ahead, and they're talking too many things about we have to do this. Someone else thinks they know. They have, whoever's in charge has this prescriptive mind. What he has, this is what we have to do. Michael Gove, was it that we had to have EBAC? It was, and we just go on every educate, but no one has looked and gone to a teacher, or I would say teachers rather than a teacher, because if they go to a teacher, they probably find someone who will follow into their mold. But you have to ask a whole core. We both agree that 3D printing has to come into it, using the center lathes, using the lathes. Those are machines. If you don't experience them at school, you're never going to want to do that for the job. You're never going to go into that. And then we're going to lose those skills, which I think we've lost a lot, and it's going to take a lot to build them back up again for us to come to the point of manufacturing in this country.
Well, I mean, I had a long conversation with the guy from Trend who was, looking at our CNC yesterday, and we were using software. I think it was VCarve. VCarve. He said it's an industry standard software. It's what a lot of the larger, manufacturing companies use. So he was saying, some of the CNC machines that software runs, we're talking like, 8 foot by 9 foot machines, and they all run the same software as I'm hoping to sort of teach my students. And he's saying, they should document that should be part of their training, and that's once they learn that skill, they should use that in their CV, because at the end of the day, that is something that they could use in the future if they were going on to manufacturing. That they can use VCarve and run a CNC machine properly. It's the same with the 3D printers as well.
That's why I've been so strong about Fusion. That's why I've been so strong about Fusion, not going down the other brand routes where people said, oh, that works better, but that's not industry used. Industry used is SolidWorks and Fusion.
We use SolidWorks.
So we went with the Fusion 360. We use that in school, and it really does work. And the new machine that we're buying a Stepcraft. It's hopefully coming before the summer, and that runs off Fusion.
I did look at Fusion, but I just felt my computers were a bit slow, and I wasn't sure whether the sort of graphics card would support, because it's quite heavy on the graphics, isn't it?
It's heavy on the graphics. You do get the warning, like if I use it on my laptop, it'll flash up at the top, so your graphics card can't do that. But it still does. The rendering's all done in the cloud, sort of thing like that. And I just wait till I go into school where they have a stronger, computers and stuff like that. We have I call it LRC. We have a few desktop computers, and they work a lot better than the laptops, sort of thing like that.
So, I mean, it's interesting. So really, the sort of challenges that you're saying, do you think it's sort of budget based? So
I think it's skill shortage, and budget based. The skill shortage, as in that we're still seen as a vocational subject. Anyone can do that. If you're not academic, you go and do that. No, even academic people can do it. Everyone should do it. It should be.
Yeah.
It should be one of those where you have on your timetable. You do maths, English, all that, and you do let's call it makerspace or something like that.
Yeah.
I know a friend of mine, Caroline. They teach a digital version,
Okay.
and so you become digitally active, and their makerspace is based on that. She had the first school makerspace, and their heads actually put that into it. Everyone does like a digital passport, they call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So about coding and stuff like that, because that's stuff that you will use in.
Yeah. I mean, I think really for me is I think the challenges in the future are that, as you say, the skill set of the students,
Yeah.
the budgets, and I think personally, I think the next 4 years are going to be really hard for design education. I personally see that, already many colleges, many schools are ditching it. I don't think the subject will disappear. I
No,
think
I
what
don't
will
think
happen
it's.
is the best departments will remain, and they will become areas of excellence. And if you want to go and study design or engineering within a specific city, that is the school you go to, because that is the only school that offers it. And I think that eventually those that manage to sort of stay afloat will be supported, because I know that once you get rid of a workshop, heads aren't, that's it, it's gone. When you go to a head, okay, it's probably going to cost you about 5 million, and they're like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, I just actually got rid of it because I wanted to have an extra English classroom. Okay, oh well, we might not ever put in a DT workshop ever again. So I think the
That's why
next
I
4 years
really
are going to be really
fought.
rocky, aren't they?
That's
And
why
I
we
think
really fought.
sorry.
That's why we really fought for this. And the machines that we built now, the new ones, are
Yeah.
injection molded and stuff like that. We really fought. It's not expensive to build. It's time
Yeah.
consuming to build, and we use all the machinery there. And it's really engaging. And because it's such a success, it's going to stay. And like you said about we've had 4 students this year join us for our year 12 from local schools because they didn't offer it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm the one of, so I think what we've got a few cottages near me, 4 or 5. I think one got rid of their workshop about 5 years ago, and then they tried to offer a 3D design based subject, but it was very much, card based.
Yeah.
And then I know of the other college is also getting rid of their department. So, I might be the only college in the sort of surrounding area,
Wow.
that's offering a practical based subject, and I think hopefully that will put me in good stead in the future. But let me find out a bit more about your inventions then. So you're talking about your plastic shredder. I want to find a bit.
Yeah.
That's
So
what you use to make the injection molding pellets, do you?
yeah. So Precious Plastic is an online community group that's been going. I think they're 10, 12 years or something like this now. It was Dave Hawkins who set up, a Dutch guy after leaving university, studying product design and stuff like that, realized how products were made and the problem we had with plastic. And they design machines which are open source. So you can download plans and you can have parts made, you can make parts yourself. And I got in my studies when I've become the teacher, I'd done one of my modules on sustainability.
Mm.
And I had a fleece that was made from plastic bottles. And I
Okay.
looked into that, and that's when I found him, that sort of thing like that, and looked at
So
that
what's
part.
the website called again?
Precious Plastics,
Precious Plastics. Okay, I'll put that in the notes.
preciousplastics.com.
Preciousplastics.com.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can buy a kit, did you say?
Yeah, well, there's what's called a bazaar, and there's people who make their machines, and you can buy their machines. So people, they don't themselves manufacture it; they
Mm.
design them. They went through the stage. I think they're in the version 4, as they call it now.
Okay.
And they had got people from all around the world to come together and help them build the machines and design the machines and make stuff. And that's where they've got to the point now. So that what they're on version 4 with their machines. So that means the machines always get a bit upgraded. They find flaws with them and improve things. Like the shredder we have now, it's the 2.1 version.
Okay. Yeah.
And there was like, we put it together, and there was like, we had a couple of running issues, and then we got the person who manufactured it for us, and they just now sent on Friday some extra shims for us,
Oh, amazing.
and free of charge, because they said no, that needs to go into it. We realized in our design thing, if you put a 1mm shim in there, that overcomes that problem.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
you're
that's
talking
great.
on these machines of 0.1mm of tolerances, for things to run and all. But
Yeah.
it's been quite great when you're standing in with students, they're looking and they're going, so do you think, and we're all pointing with pencils so we don't put our fingers too close to it, do you think there should be something, because that tooth is there, it's got a bit of slack into it, but that
Yeah,
one hasn't, that one has,
I see.
because
Yeah.
you're putting loads of components together and you only need, faults will multiply, so
Yeah.
we know that
Right.
gluing something
Yeah.
together becomes bigger in the end. And
Yeah.
so the thing like, and taking off is quite difficult of metals or something like that, but you can add a shim into somewhere and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
like I said, we built our shredder. I'm very lucky to have a technician who's a welder fabricator.
I know. Yeah, I was like, when I was looking at your Instagram, I was like,
Yeah.
you're working with a lot of metal.
Yeah.
It's good to see that. It's good to
Well,
see proper metal skills.
I've got classic minis as a hobby, restoring them,
Oh, okay.
and racing them. So when you have that, I knew how to weld beforehand, but
Yeah.
then having a technician who's a coded welder really helped,
Great. Yeah.
and we bounce ideas off each other. I've got a sketchbook, and we always make sketches in there and annotate it and say, oh, we're going to change this, going to change that, write measurements down and stuff like that, so we don't lose them, and ideas that we
Yeah.
have.
Yeah, no, it's good. My technician's good. He's quite technical. He's good with 3D printers,
Yeah,
CNCs. And,
that's
he
great.
doesn't have a proper, like, I say a proper making background or an engineering making background, but he can do all the sort of science side behind the scenes, rather than me having to spend my evenings trying to, like, get things up and running. So last couple of things really. So I mean, we talked about sort of current challenges in terms of sort of budgets and skills. So where do you think the sort of future is of the subject? Where do you think it's going? And what sort of other future challenges? Because I've got a couple of opinions on that, but I'll let
Yeah.
you
Okay.
start.
I think, well, if we create ourselves to be in a sustainable subject is as giving students something. Like my year 9 project that we started is called the litter picker. So we're looking at the plastic pollution, because that's a huge impact it's going to have on their lives.
Yeah,
It's a topic that's really hot but funny enough, we started this before it became hot this year in the media, because this year it
yeah,
became really hot after Turkey now is not taking our plastic recycling anymore.
I
So
see.
everything is staying in this country now. It's not leaving
Okay.
this country.
Yeah,
And I just done it as students. I drew on my board mountains, and they're going, "Why you draw mountains, sir?" I said, "This is what the Neston's going to look like. We're gonna have mountains, but fake mountains of rubbish." And they were going, "No,
yeah.
and then just getting a thought process like that go. So we make a litter picker, looking at all how mechanical things work.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
They're not building one. They're building them as a team.
Okay.
So it's like 3 or 4 students at a table working together, building this litter picker. So they're bouncing ideas off each other. How does it work? Because we have a challenge afterwards, picking up different objects around the room and different
Yeah.
weights of objects. So we're challenging them, because students want to be challenged. They don't want to just come in, draw something, go back out. They don't want to just come in, solve a few numbers, go back out.
Yeah.
Every student that comes I found in year 9, even they haven't taken it for an option, they goes, "Oh, I wish I took that for an option now."
Okay.
They
Yeah.
see how interesting it is. We don't want to pitch it too early, like in year 8 or something like that. We do think it's right in year 9 to run that. So it's a bit like a GCSE style project, but
Okay. Yeah.
they run it as a collective. So
Yeah.
a couple of them work together. Because then you get the one who doesn't want to engage, will engage because he sees how interesting it is.
Yeah. I see. Yeah. I think, yeah, it's a really good point. I think, definitely as designers, we have a responsibility for, making sure that what we design and what we do has a positive impact on
Yeah,
on the future. And I think, I was talking about this to the guy at Trent, and I think really in terms of our subject is, I think your link to skills is important, because children now need to know that what they're studying is going to result in an end, an end goal, really.
Yeah.
And there's no point, and I think this will be the future in terms of even subjects like, maths and English. Okay, students study it because they have to have a core knowledge, but I think in the future, students need to know that what they're studying is gonna result in something, and otherwise they're not going to take
it. It has to be a stepping stone. They have to. When they come and I say we're doing maths, and they go, "We're doing maths." I said, "Yeah, but we're applying our maths now. So we're going to work out this angle here and this, to get this litter picker to work." And they go, "Oh, I see now why we've done this in maths, but the maths teacher never said that."
Yeah,
I said, that's we have to teach kids those skills they're going to need for jobs. They're going to need for. Because I say to loads of them, when they say, "Well, I'm never ever going to do this," I said, "No, one day you're gonna go to IKEA, sorry to mention the shop, or Home Bargains, B&M, whatever you want to call it, you're going to buy a lamp.
Yeah.
You're going to come on with that lamp. Oh, there's 2 screws that I need to put in.
Yeah.
And then you're going to know how to use it, or you're going to buy a clock that you want to put onto your wall, a picture you want to hang up." So all those skills that you're getting taught are going to be skills that you're door catchers, because you had a new, because the hinges a bit, the screws come loose. You're not going to call a tradesperson for that to come out.
Exactly.
You want to get that own screwdriver out and be able to tighten that screw up, or take it back out, put something into the hole and tighten it back up again so it works.
Yeah. We're creating problem solvers, aren't we?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, and I think we probably take it for granted, because we are, we're makers, we're problem solvers. We, if we have a problem in our house, we're like, the first thing in our head, we're like, right, what am I going to do to fix that?
Yeah.
And I think it's just trying to make sure that, as you say, kids have those skills that they can use. And talking about skills, because I think something that I've found recently is the lack of skills of maybe new DT teachers. And I think I'm lucky to have got into teaching back in the day, where I was sort of working with the old school. And I worked with a couple of real old school DT teachers, which were very much engineering, technology, center lathes and all of that. And my biggest worry, and as I see so much, is that I'm getting emails, or I'm having short conversations with teachers saying to me, "Oh, can you teach me how to use this bit of kit?" Or, "Do you know how to use this?" Or they're saying, "Oh, I want to do this project," and I'm going, "Yeah, but you've got this machine, and they're like, "But I don't know how to use it." Or they're like, "Oh, this is for sale because we're using the money to reinvest in something else." And I'm like, why aren't you using that piece of machinery? And it makes me cry, because I was really lucky to inherit a workshop where my old boss, he kept everything. We've got a metal work area, we've got welding, and I try and use those skills in, as I said, as many projects as I can. And what I'm worried is that we're seeing a very dumbed down curriculum that doesn't give students a full range of skills.
I have to be careful now, because I don't want to upset people by having my opinion. But I'm the believer in, if I leave school and I didn't have yourself, myself, other teachers who are this inspiring with all these machines and showing them loads of skills, and I go to that subject, I can only do what I've been shown.
Yeah.
But if I've been out and I've worked, I've had real problems to solve, I become that more. The university course that I done, we were a mixed sort of cohort. I was the oldest.
Yeah.
And all the younger ones, there was, and I will quite often say this because they still laugh about it now. The ones who are old enough to be my kids, they're not teachers now.
Yeah.
They didn't continue with it because they just seen it wasn't for them.
Yeah.
The ones who are nearly as old as me, or it's like maybe just 10 years younger, who've worked before and done something, we're all still teachers, because we've had what we call a past life. We can talk about in a classroom, we can have that conversation and say, "Do you know, I can remember doing this job," or in life, you will come across, see that life experience. And I think that's what obviously sets you as a good skill set. But when you said about not knowing how to use a machine, all these associations that we can join, and I'm going to openly say I'm not part of any association. I don't see paying my membership for something where I'm not going to get something back for it.
Yeah.
I rather support YouTube makers via Patreon, or any go to maker fests where I pay to go to, like Maker Central or something, like where I meet other makers and give money that way, because I'm learning more of those makers, of those people sharing skills.
Sharing skills, yeah.
That makerspace that we're going to set up, it's going to be run on a Wednesday after school, and I'm going to do it once a month. That is run in the evening as well, so former students can come back. And I'm even going to open it then to local, because I've had one or two local teachers, like you say, you contacted me, say, do you know your plastic shredder? How do I build one of those? You know that injection molder you're making? Where can I buy one of those? You can buy it, but you're still going to have to do work to it. It's not going to be something you just buy
overnight
and it works.
Yeah.
It's like a 3D printer. And they go, what a 3D printer does? I said, no, a 3D printer, you buy it and you have to fine tune it.
Yeah.
I've spent hours tuning our Ender 3s, to get it where they are. I've had students who helped me with it, and I praise them so much for it, because they've gone away and done loads of research and come back, and we've done things like that. But that is something that at university, they don't teach you that in that 1 year of your PGCE.
Yeah, so it takes time.
It takes time. It takes time. And that's why I always say like, we actually had 2 trainee teachers who just left now from drama, came in and see me. I said, ladies, best of luck. And remember, it takes time. Things don't come overnight.
They don't. And I mean, I think it's a really interesting note to sort of end on, really. And I think, obviously I've been sharing a lot of my stuff online, and that it's been really positive, the feedback. But I have had a lot of emails recently just saying to me, "Can I have your scheme of work?" or "Can I have this?" And I'm like, that's fine, but there are other factors that are involved in what that creates. And it's not just me, it's the kids, it's the environment, it's the work ethic.
I've shared with loads of teachers my engineering resources, but having that resource does not do anything. Like when I asked you for the chair one, all I wanted is an image of
that's right. Yeah,
this is what it looks like. I'm not going to use anything else for it. It's just going to be, look, someone else has sketched this, someone else has made this, someone else has made this, because you need to have samples to show them.
Of course, yeah.
It's like that. I love it. That Blue Peter. This is one I made earlier. If you don't have that, you can't do that, because a student doesn't want me to talk about something and not say, they're going to go, sir, where's the one you made? Yeah. They're going to want to see the one I've made, because they're modeling themselves on me.
That's really important, isn't it? To sort of demonstrate quite often,
if I can't do it, and I'd be quite open to them, and I go, this was really difficult. This was my best attempt.
Yeah.
And some of them will go, oh, that's good, that. And some will go, And that moment, because those are going to be the ones who really picked up that, and they go, either sir's having us on there, showing us something that doesn't work purposely, or he wouldn't really. Because I said to him afterwards, Tom, when you went, I was quite taken back by that. And he went, no, that wasn't negative, sir. That was like, I had the idea how that can be solved. And I said, look, mine worked. I said, no, Tom, yours works. That's great. And he said, you did that on purpose, haven't you? And I went, no, I actually didn't. But you have to be honest. And that's what, if you can't be that with students, they will not see. Because where we are now, where we are now at this school, with the way we have the curriculum we offer, it's taken time to get there.
Of course, yeah.
I joined the school, and product design had a poor uptake.
Yeah.
It was kids who were put on the course because it's vocational. They just make something. Where now we have students who join who are doing as well, besides that, separate sciences or something like that.
Yeah.
Or they're in the higher maths or something like that, So you get that mixed diversity of student, which I think is great.
Oh, it's great. I've got the same.
Really helps.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But again, it just takes time to nurture, and people just who want to do this, you just have to think to yourself, what do I want to achieve, and take it in small steps.
Exactly. It's not going to happen overnight. What people don't see on the other side is me sweating, moving stuff. It's like the last the last few days of that show, I came back and
Yeah.
nearly collapsed. You know what I
I
mean?
can imagine it when you said that. That's why I said it's amazing because my wife gets up at 5 o'clock for work. She works in the NHS, so I automatically wake up.
Yeah.
I'm up and I'm going, sort of thing like that. But I'm in school till 6 o'clock then as well, working,
The
doing
long
this,
day. Yeah, yeah.
long day. But if you don't put that long day into it and don't, I walk down the street somewhere and look at something, and go, take a photograph. That's something I can use in a lesson.
Exactly. And yeah, definitely being inspired. I listen to a lot of
Yep.
podcasts on the way to work,
Yep.
about education, design, and I get in and I'm like, but I guess the hard work comes with the passion, doesn't it? And
Yeah,
at the
it
end of the
does.
day, you've got to be passionate because as we've identified, we're facing some difficult challenges at the minute in our subject, especially with finances,
Yeah.
and funding, and to make it the best we can, we've just got to sort of be passionate and be resilient as well, and hopefully that sort of trickles down into the kids. Right, last bit then, really, where can people find out a bit more about you? Because you've got the Facebook group. Is it the AQA is it product design 3D? Is that the
Yeah, it's 3D product design. It's A level and GCSE, what I called it, or something like that. I can remember doing that. Find me on Instagram with Neston High School Makerspace.
excellent?
And I've done as well now a separate group that I set up. Must be gloating for that punishment, but schools recycling plastic, because I had so many questions asked about it. So
Okay,
I set
that's
that up as a
interesting.
separate thing. So I post things on there. What I put on the Instagram, I put things, I might put on the Facebook things where I wouldn't say to students, sort of thing, like type things in there and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh,
So
excellent.
yeah, make sure that that's a clear of students sort of group where I'm trying with both, but sometimes it's really hard to keep
Yeah.
track of that, sort of thing like that.
Oh, it takes a lot, doesn't it? I mean, I used to run the art and design A-level group, and I just got rid of that. I donated it to an art teacher because
Yeah.
I originally set it up when I moved over to art and design to sort of get some inspiration from people, and but it for me it became more of an art based rather than a design based group, and I wanted to support the design community. So getting rid of that group and donating it was the best thing I ever did. Actually, I think
Well,
gave
see,
me
I've got a lot this way. I'm like in some engineering groups as well and stuff like that. But I'm always a believer in I will share you what I'm happy to talk about.
yeah
If you don't
yeah
like it, you don't like it. There's always people who are going to like. There's always going to be someone who will give you a negative thought to it or something like that, or rip it to pieces. They don't think it's as skillful because they're doing something different. But guess what?
you've got to be open. Yeah
We do blockbots in school, and I know they are ripped to pieces on Facebook.
yeah
There's nothing wrong with blockbots. You're teaching kids core skills of using hand tools, machine tools, you know,
yeah
and they all like at that age group, they like that as an outcome. They
yeah
like that. They want to take something home.
yeah
They they're not
and they can do
happy.
it.
In year 7, they want to take something home. Year 8 and 9, they don't want anymore. They're happy just to make something, and it doesn't go home with them or something like that.
Yeah yeah
And just do a project that's based on learning skills.
yeah
You know.
skills. Yeah, I think that's the one, isn't it? Really. Right, Pat. I think we're going to
Okay.
end it. We're going
Thank
to
you,
end
Ben.
it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for giving up your time. I'm sure we could talk for many more hours, but we
We would,
will
yes.
continue on your Facebook group and definitely keep in touch.
I will do.
Um, and
And we
thank
make
you.
the space open. I'm hoping that you can pay a visit sometime.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. No, I'd
Yeah.
love to. I'd love to.
Because we're gonna hopefully launch next year our opening event. So we're gonna do like a day or something, like a Saturday or something, as an open event, so people can come into it. But
Okay.
obviously we wanted to do it two years ago, and now we got stuck with pandemic sort of thing like that. But it's
Yeah.
been better because we've actually managed to do loads behind the scenes.
No, I'd definitely be up for that.
Okay,
All right,
great stuff,
Pat.
Ben. Okay,
Well,
thank
thank
you.
you and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You too. Thank you. Thanks.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.
Okay.